A vast majority of voters in Boston, nearly 80%, support making the City School Committee an elected body in a 2021 ballot referendum instead of leaving the power to pick members with the mayor. And the Boston City Council has just passed a proposal to make that happen. But there's still one major wrench in the plan.
I have never been supportive of an elected school committee. I ran for this job because I want to make a difference in the schools. I want to have accountability and responsibility to be able to make the changes that we need.
With Mayor Wu unlikely to sign it and 9 city councilors needed to override her veto, 2 more than the number of votes the measure got in the first place, there's a good chance this isn't going anywhere. So, what does this mean for the struggling Boston public school system? And what about the nearly 80% of voters who aren't getting their way? Lisa Green, the author of the 2021 ballot question in favor of an elected school committee, which got overwhelming support, and Boston City Council President Ed Flynn, who voted against the elected committee proposal before the council, both join me now to talk about this. Welcome to both of you. Lisa, let's start with you first. Can you tell us what the ballot question said and what you hoped it would accomplish?
Sure. The ballot question was a very simple question. It asked if you supported changing from the current appointed structure to a structure elected by the residents of Boston. And so, like you said, that had 80% of the vote. And I also want to say that I was, I helped in the process, but the resolution that was passed yesterday was authored by Councilor Arroyo and Councilor Mejia. And we have a huge coalition of groups behind us. Bostonians for an Elected School Committee was the group, and we have about 20 member orgs.
Councilor Ed Flynn, many cities around us and across the country have elected school committees. Why doesn't Boston?
I think Boston has unique challenges facing our school system and our students. It's had these challenges for 50 years. We have a struggling school system. It hasn't improved. And I don't think now is the time to make a major change in the school structure. The school system should be answerable directly to the mayor. I think the mayor needs to play a critical leadership role in overseeing the BPS system. I don't think that would happen if we had an elected school committee.
Councilor Flynn, I wonder, though, we've had mayors in charge before, and we still have a Boston public school system that is not where most parents and most citizens in Boston want it to be. What consequences has a sitting mayor received for not bringing the Boston public school system up to where I think most parents would like it to be?
It's a good question, Sue, and I should have said hello to you and to Lisa as well. I think Mayor Wu is fairly new in the position. Superintendent Skipper is fairly new as well. I think they deserve an opportunity to see what they can do, see what type of improvements they can do. We're also coming out of a pandemic. We have social, emotional, mental health challenges for many students. We have old school buildings that are very unhealthy, difficult for learning and for teaching. I just think making a major drastic change to the structure of the school system would negatively impact our students. That's why at this time, I am against the elected school system. However, if there was a hybrid option, I would have supported that.
Lisa Green, one of the things that people talk about when they talk about elected school committees is democracy, that folks should have the right to vote directly for who's in charge. And then other people will point to judges. When judges run for office, sometimes you don't necessarily get the best judges, you get the judges who ran the best campaigns, and that can muddy the waters of how justice is meted out. What's your advocacy for why an elected school committee would be best right now for the city of Boston's students, parents, and for all the citizens?
Yeah, sure. So, local control, local democratic control of public schools is the cornerstone of American public schools. It's not just foundational, it's virtually universal. So, we believe in that principle of local control of schools, and we just don't see the reason why Boston, only city in Massachusetts, one of the few in the country, to have this system of mayoral control should remain that way. I think when we speak to people in Boston, a lot of people remember the sting of the takeover. It was a controversial thing at the time. So people who are here to remember that have really come out in force for this, but also people who are not from here, who are often stunned that we don't elect our school committee members. And so, we think that now is the time. It's been 30 years. The issue of accountability is an interesting one. People select their mayor for myriad reasons. It could be transportation, housing, development, crime. And we've seen myriad situations where mayors have been vilified for one reason or another, and they still get reelected. So it's interesting to see that Mayor Wu is making that argument after 30 years. If she believes that we can truly hold mayors accountable for schools at the ballot box, then she wouldn't feel so free to ignore 79% of the voters now.
Councillor Flynn, we're going to discuss, and Lisa Green, we're going to discuss what a hybrid might look like in just a second. But I want to circle back to the accountability and the representation issue, Councillor Flynn. We've had a struggle getting a superintendent in place for a longer period of time or at least a period of time where they could actually make some impact on the school system here in Boston. And there have been a number of challenges engaging parents in the process, not necessarily on the parent side, but during some of the superintendent interviews. Flyers weren't sent out or emails weren't sent out in a number of languages, so some people felt left out. They happened during work hours, so parents couldn't make it. What has to happen for parents to be able to be part of this process with an appointed school committee? What kinds of tools are you offering parents to be involved?
I think the role that families play in our schools is critical. We should be educating the student, but also the entire family. And that includes social services for the family, whether it's food access, whether it's support for language and communication access, as you highlighted, Sue, but also helping on social services. It might be in support of immigrant-related issues, making sure our documented and undocumented students and families are also welcomed with open arms and receive a quality professional education in our school system. But I think it's educating the entire family, the wraparound services for the entire family, not just through education, but through social and emotional programs, educating the family, mental health counseling, career counseling, social services. In my district, food access is a critical issue. A lot of families go without, and it's hard to raise a child, to educate a child when they don't have access to nutritional food. Some of my students also have challenges with their home. They're living in their car, they're living in their automobile. They don't have a healthy living environment. So it's those types of social services we need to increase as well. But it's about also making sure that the entire family receives counseling, and mental health counseling going forward has to be our #1 top priority.
Lisa, I want to talk about this idea of a hybrid school committee, which Councillor Flynn has brought up, Mayor Wu has brought up, a number of people have, that sort of look at it as a way to both engage parents in a democratic process to pick a school committee, yet at the same time allow a mayor to pick people for, one would hope, a level of expertise and experience that would help move the district forward. Is that an idea that you would be interested in entertaining?
Our coalition wouldn't. There's no successful model of a hybrid nationwide that you can point to. I'm glad that the counselor, that President Flynn brought it up yesterday. I just wish he would have brought it up earlier in the process. You know, we had a series of working sessions that were to flesh this out. Mayor Wu has also said that she was for a hybrid, but we never had in any of the working sessions or hearings that we had a hybrid introduced until yesterday, right? So also, you know, to go back to some of the things that Councillor Flynn said about, you know, our goals and stability for BPS. This ballot question is here because of stability for BPS, right? We feel like the past 30 years of mayoral control has put a revolving door on the superintendent's office. It's destabilized the schools. And if anything, you know, it's shielded the mayor from accountability. But at its core, we agree with the councilor wholeheartedly on all of those issues about BPS. But at its core, this is a voting rights issue, a civil rights issue, a racial justice issue, right? And to say that it's not the right time and that we should give it a few years to see if we need to make any change to the system just sort of grates at the idea that it's always the right time to do justice, you know, and that justice delayed is justice denied. And I think former Mayor Flynn, your father, had an interesting quote when he was leaving in 1993. You know, he had effected the mayoral takeover in 91. And he said on his way out, though, and I'll quote him, "Let me acknowledge that taking the right to vote away from people is not a pleasant thing for me. It's a big issue in the minority community. I know it, I still hear it, and it's a very valid concern." So for the record, our coalition includes organizations on the front lines of voting rights, the NAACP, unions like the BTU, Mass Voter Table, Right to the City Vote, Reclaim Roxbury Black Educators of Mass, and on and on and on. These are orgs on the front line of voting rights and civil rights. And on the other side, you know, we've had pretty much radio silence. We've had the mayor who said that she wants an elected school committee, who said that she would participate in the HRP process. The mayor wants a hybrid school committee, said that she would participate in the HRP process, but hasn't, and now is saying that she doesn't want to do it at all. And then, you know, we have a few city councilors who voted that way yesterday. And then we've got, you know, maybe there's one org who's come out in favor of it, and it's a privatization org funded by hedge fund billionaires. So, you know, it's a way to consolidate power. And we've seen that in the past that, you know, these organizations and business interests have often tried to effect these mayoral takeovers of schools. We're seeing it happen right now in LA, right, where it's easier to control consolidated power in one person than it would be to have districted councilors who are in their communities and responsive to their voters.
Councillor Flynn, I'll give you the last word on this.
Thank you, Sue. I would just say that our Boston school system is struggling. We're coming off of a 3-year pandemic. Our students are facing significant challenges, learning loss, significant mental health challenges. Our families, our BPS families are struggling too. Now, in my opinion, now is not the time to make this drastic decision. Maybe down the road, after we improve somewhat with Mayor Wu and Superintendent Skipper's leadership, maybe we could discuss a hybrid option. That's something I would consider. I know Councilor Flaherty had a proposal, had an amendment yesterday that offered somewhat of a compromise. I voted in favor of the compromise. I was willing to compromise on this, but I just think the overall leadership, responsibility, authority should be in the mayor of Boston. Residents elected the mayor. I think the residents want to see what Mayor Wu can do to improve the school system. She was elected to make improvements. She brought in a well-qualified school superintendent. Let's give both of them the opportunity to make some changes and to improve our school system.
Well, can I speak briefly to that amendment?
Very quickly.
Yes. So that amendment was never brought up on the floor. Councillor Flynn voted for Councillor Flaherty's amendment. So it was the right time for that amendment, but not this one. But the proposal was a non-starter. It said for a wholly at-large school committee elected at the city level. That was recently the subject of a lawsuit in Worcester. And they were forced to restructure their school committee to have districted representation because it's a voting rights issue. So that wasn't a serious proposal. I think it was just cover to get to a path to no. For whatever reason, people don't want the power shared with the community to control their schools as it is everywhere else in the United States. And so I just wanted to flag that as an inconsistency.
I'll give you 10 seconds to respond, Councillor Flynn.
I think over the next several years, it's important for us to work together, improve the education opportunities in Boston, but to support our BPS families especially. And it's good to be with you, Sue. It's good to be with you, Lisa.
Lisa Green, Councillor Ed Flynn, thank you both for your time. To be continued. I appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sue. Thanks, President Flynn.
Thank you. It's good to be with you.